The Nintendo Switch 2 reveal is just around the corner, and in this video I want to talk to you about why I believe that we are about to witness one of the greatest releases and one of the greatest consoles of all time. Not only when it comes to the actual console and its specs and its power, but when it comes to video games. Now, without wasting too much of your time, I want to jump into the heart of this video and tell you why the Nintendo Switch 2 will have the most video games at launch, and not only the most, but the best video games right at the beginning of its life. So before we get into today's stories, you see, I want to ask you one thing. I want to ask for your subscription. You see, I'm legally blind and I'm basically losing my sight as we go. I don't have sight on my left eye and I have about 40% sight of my right eye, and it's just fading away, right? The doctors right now have nothing else they can do. But I have a dream to become a full-timer on YouTube by the end of this year. And I want to ask you for your help. If you subscribe to this channel right now, it'll only take a second. For me, it'll just change my life. So if you could do that right now, I would really appreciate it. Here, we have Monday through Friday Nintendo news. On the weekends, we have products and reviews. And we also have the occasional in-topic podcast with your favorite voice actor. So I would really appreciate it. It would mean the world to me, and I just want to thank you in advance for giving me your subscription. Let's move on to today's stories. Now, this video is not without substance, because in order to prove to you how the Nintendo Switch 2 will be one of the best systems at launch with the most games ever, I have to take you back to the era of the Wii. Now, what Nintendo was able to do with the Nintendo Wii was just out of this world. Can you remember playing Wii Sports, getting that nunchuck for the first time, and playing baseball where you had to actually do the movements to actually play the game, right? This was something revolutionary and something that just really caught our attention. And so this led to Nintendo selling 101 million units of the console. And not only that, but that led to almost 1 billion software in sales. And so with the success of the Wii, followed the Wii U. Now, many developers admit that because of the sales of the prior console, which was the GameCube, they never thought that the Wii would take off the way it did. And so they didn't jump in on time in order to reap the benefits and the sales for their games. If they knew how big the Wii was going to be and how successful and how many people were to play the Wii, they would have jumped in from day one and reaped the benefits. So at this stage, I can imagine developers really having that FOMO, fear of missing out, and trying to do whatever it could to make it to the next console on day one. Thus, the Wii U came to be. And you will not believe what happened to the Wii U in its very first year out on the market. The Wii U had over 46 AAA third-party titles in its first year. Let that sink in for a minute here. We're talking about 46 AAA third-party titles in its first year, not even counting all the first-party games that were out on the Wii U, right? We're talking about games like Assassin's Creed 3, when it came out, Batman Arkham City, Call of Duty was on the Wii U, right? FIFA 13, NBA 2K, Mass Effect 3, and a lot of other crazy games that made it. Even the amazing Spider-Man was on the Wii U because of the fear of missing out, right? And so we all know what happened with the Wii U, right? Some blame the actual name. It was too confusing. Some blame the marketing. Some blame anything. Whatever it was, it just failed. And so a lot of developers were left in the dust and kind of disappointed at the fact that the Wii U did not do as good as the Nintendo Wii. And so this led to Nintendo basically shortening the life of the Wii U and presenting to us the Nintendo Switch. And with a new console, there's always this excitement in the air of something new, something fresh happening, but developers were not yet convinced. Now, can you guess how many AAA third-party titles were on the Switch in its first year compared to the Wii U? 18. Yes, you heard me right. There were only 18 AAA third-party titles in the Nintendo Switch's first year compared to the 46 AAA third-party titles in the Wii U. And not only that, but these games excluded Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Darksiders, Mass Effect 3, and others. I mean, like big games like Spider-Man and Warrior Orgy, Zombie, Marvel's Avengers, and a lot of other crazy games that never made it to the Switch because at the beginning there wasn't enough confidence in the system for third-party developers to get excited about. Now, I can tell you exactly why this happened with the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo has a history of literally reinventing the wheel every time they release a brand new console. If you take a look at Nintendo's history, console by console by console, they're looking for new and innovative ways to play video games, right? But at the same time, this could be a blessing and a curse at the same time. Nintendo can develop a console as successful as the Wii, but then develop another console as unsuccessful as the Wii U. And so developers were not feeling as confident as they were with the Nintendo Wii in the launch of the Nintendo Switch. Now, this is where I prove to you how we will get one of the most exciting and the most successful launches in Nintendo history with the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, there's no secret that the Nintendo Switch, with 139 million units sold and over 1.2 billion software sold, is a massively successful console. So that fear of missing out for developers is over the roof. I mean, Nintendo Switch has literally broken the odds, has become a console that has been on the number one spot year after year after year. And even in its very last year, the Nintendo Switch continues to sell massively well. The Nintendo Switch created a paradigm shift for Nintendo and the entire industry. Nintendo was able to successfully create a console that you can take with you on the go and also dock to play on your television, right? This was something that was unheard of until the Nintendo Switch. And so it became the best-selling console month after month. Not only that, but this was able to help Nintendo focus on developing games for only one console rather than just having a console and a mobile console separately. So this in turn gave us more games with better quality on the Nintendo Switch. All right, Mike, so how does this guarantee that the Switch 2 will get the best lineup at year one? Well, besides fear of missing out, which is always a thing, right? Everybody experiences it. Developers also experience it. But the real reason behind the success of the Nintendo Switch 2 is called Shintaro Furukawa, the president of Nintendo of Japan. Now, why do I say this? Because Shintaro Furukawa, first of all, is not a creative person. He is a numbers person, a guy that focuses on the profit and the finances. And therefore, people like this are more likely to stay on the safe side of history than the creative side and the gambling side of history. People like Shintaro Furukawa also live by the motto, if it's not broken, don't fix it, improve it. People like Shintaro Furukawa, they don't reinvent the wheel. They improve the wheel and they look for ways to build upon what already is a successful console. One of the leakers mentioned that Nintendo is not planning on reinventing the wheel or giving us something completely brand new, but they called it an incremental upgrade. Now, this does not mean we're getting another Nintendo Switch. This means that we are getting a full upgrade of the system, just not as drastic as Nintendo has done in the past. Therefore, this gives developers a lot more confidence to go into the next system, knowing that they're developing for a similar system to the Nintendo Switch with many improvements made to a console that has already been selling well. Most of the leaks we hear and most of the information we hear out there is about developers and how excited they are to develop on Nintendo's next gen system. This is just proof that excitement is in the air. There is no uncertainty of what we're going to get with the next system. Everyone is expecting a system similar to the Nintendo Switch with a screen, with Joy-Cons, with the ability to dock and play in handheld mode on the go, and an overall more powerful console with the ability to support third-party AAA games. Developers are no longer blindsided. They know what to expect. And with Nintendo President Shintaro Furukawa confirming that the 150 million accounts are transferable to the next-gen system, AAA third-party developers are entering and developing for Nintendo Switch 2 with all of the confidence and excitement in the world. I mean, we have heard from so many developers on their excitement about developing for Nintendo's next-gen system. And all of this is going to translate into one of the greatest and biggest launches in Nintendo history. Now, I would like to ask you guys, what third-party AAA games would you love to see on year one of the Nintendo Switch 2? All right, that is going to do it. Before I let you go, never give up and journey on. Peace.